morning to you, beautiful people. Welcome to Open Parliament on the frequency of Family Love 99.9 FM. And of course, you know, the midweek edition is being streamed via ABN TV and radio, as well as linked as well with Magic 102.9 FM and right there in a bar. My name is Mr. C. A guest every Wednesdays, as you might know right about now, is Interpol consultant and security expert in the person of Chikwe Udensi. A very good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. C. Good morning.
Okay, so welcome on board the program. Don't forget, we've got a post on Facebook. You can go to www.facebook.com/familylove99.9 FM. You want to go drop your comment? Yes, you can do that, and we got you covered. On the flip side, we'll be throwing the phone lines open as well. If you've got a reaction, we'll let you come through with that. Trending stories we've got this morning for our guests to react to. First off, most definitely has got to do with Anambra State, as Obi Ezekwesili, former Minister of Education, well, she has been appointed to chair the transition committee of Charles Soludo, governor-elect of Anambra State. I'm sure, sir, you definitely would have heard of this, most definitely, because the transition committee has about 80 members as constituted. Like said already, the chairperson is the former Minister of Education. We have your name in that list as well as part of the committee, the likes of Charles Odedo, Tony Ifanya. We got Dr. Alex Oti and a host of very big technocrats as far as Nigeria is concerned. To start with, we want to say congratulations for making the 80-man constitution list. What do you make of it, by the way?
Thank you very much, Mr. C. I was pleasantly surprised when I was informed that I'm a member of the committee, and that it was being headed by, it is to be headed by Professor Obi Ezekwesili. I took a very close look at the terms of reference and also the profile of other members of the committee. I was quite impressed, and I decided to take part. In fact, we shall be sworn in tomorrow. We will be constituted tomorrow, and the business of ensuring that we put together beautiful blueprint for Soludo in Anambra State. In fact, I'm on my way in the next few minutes to the airport, so I can head towards Anambra State. I'm quite impressed with the level of personality, professionals that are in the team. That tells you the kind of choice, the kind of decision Professor Soludo has made. It exhibits competence. There's this saying that most African intellectuals are theorists. You see an economist a professor of economics, says an economist, but when it comes to the practicality of economics, he's found wanting. He can't even create wealth. But look at the competence of those. I went to do a little bit of due diligence on them, especially those I don't know personally, and I was quite impressed to the extent to which they have contributed to the society. Our job is going to go a little beyond just preparing a blueprint. We are going to effectively go through the first 100 days in office, and we have already commenced platform discussions and also putting together the necessary pathways for our inauguration tomorrow. I feel very honored that I'm part of it, and I'll give in my best, like you know.
Oh, well, you did mention being pleasantly surprised. How so, knowing that a chunk of this list are not citizens of Anambra State, and there's been a few complaints here and there about how bogus, if you like, how big it is. The list that made up the committee. What would be a reaction to that?
No, well, what he did was to select the best brains in their various areas. Look at Abia State. He took 3 people. One in the area of education. He has attained the epitome of that profession. The other one in the area of finance. He's no small man in that area. And then my humble self in the area of security. So he did not just pick people. It's only a few politicians who are expecting that he has to start patronizing out. That's probably those who are indicating that their names ought to be there. He went professional, not only in Anambra State. He went even beyond the core Igbo states. He went to Delta and also to Rivers. So you can see he looked for the best hands to help him in molding the template for Anambra State. As for the number, 80 people, it sounds some large number, but don't forget that we're looking at about 28 committees. 28 committees with 80 people. I don't know, there's not enough people there. So for that number of committees, 80 is the minimum one should go. And I'm happy with the composition of members of that committee.
Well, I want to say congratulations once again, and we wish the purpose for which it's set up is actually achieved. We're going to move on now to another issue that borders on, if you like, the judiciary, and that because it concerns a citizen that comes from this part of the country. And then, yes, the federal government yesterday did file fresh terrorism charges against the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, talking about Nnamdi Kanu. Well, in the amended process filed before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, the federal government increased the count in the initial charge preferred against Kanu. Recall that he's facing a 7-count charge on treasonable felony, now faces fresh 15-count amended charge. Now, that may not be the big one as far as this part of the country is concerned. The big one, and as it affects this region, has to do with the IPOP declaring, and at least not before now, that at any point in time the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, appears in court, there is going to be a seat at home in this part of the country. And it was observed in major cities across the region. What's your take on the amended charge, if you like, and then the set seat at home?
Yes, I heard about the amended charge, and I quickly reached out to my lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria. I asked him, please, can I have analysis of what the amendments are? From 7 charges to 15 charges, are there new things that were found out, and there was a need to charge him? But from the response I got, even from 2 other lawyers, is that it is the same old dance around. I do not know actually who the prosecutors are and those who are preparing those files for the government. It is the same old thing. Only they have to expand the language. That 7 charge, actually, it ought to be just 2 charges there. But it has been expanded to 15, and same old story, calling one thing another name, and then calling the other another name. But it's still within the same felony charge against Nnamdi Kanu. Well, the lawyer for Nnamdi Kanu right now is Mike Ezokome. You may be aware.
And the lead counsel, though?
Yes. The lead counsel is Mike Ezokome. They have had a few changes to see how they can consolidate on their own legal actions. They sit at home. Like you know, it's more or less a solidarity action. It's a moral booster for those who are supporting the cause of Nnamdi Kanu. That is what I see it to be. But if you take a look at the job demography of our people in the southeast, you see that our people are largely, a large percentage are artisans. They eat from hand to mouth. Most of them are petty traders. Those are people who must have to have a daily activity to be able to eat. We are talking about transporters. So this category of people constitute a chunk of the employment demography we have in our region. So it is very, very important to understand the effect, the economic effect. But when I spoke to a few people, especially those who are adamant against any action against Nnamdi, they're saying that they don't care about the level of sacrifice they make. If they miss a day or two in their businesses, it remains a moral booster for them that there is a solidarity action for Nnamdi. But again, as a systems consultant, as a security consultant, I am very concerned about the level of violence that has engulfed those at homes. I took a record from the area commander. I looked at the crime desk from the area commander Monday. That day, Monday the 10th. Between Imo and Anambra State, the record shows that about 49 vehicles were damaged. And about 28 persons were seriously injured. In fact, we recorded 2 deaths in the process of trying to enforce visit at home. But these are the areas that you get some level of concerns. There were also people who took laws into their hands and to ensure that they could negotiate with some vendetta. If they have somebody they are not happy with, it's an opportunity to vent their anger. These are the areas that concerns me as a security expert, and I'm very, very concerned. I've also reached out to law enforcement to see how we can use another means of ensuring that people's lives and property are to a large extent secured. What they are doing right now shows me that even law enforcement is afraid of themselves too. They are afraid because one, they have shown anger in the areas of their welfare. They have shown anger in the areas of promotions, etc. So I am very, very concerned about the violence. The one for last Monday, we have not gotten the records. If they come in, I hope it does not get as bad as what we had on the Monday the 10th.
Okay, well, talking about that case, it was adjourned to today. Well, I know we did have this issue come up the last time we came through right here, and the opposition was made clear as well. You did emphasize the fact that the Southeast governors should still push and see how a resolution can be reached on this. But reports saying that the Southeast Governors Forum and of course the leadership of Ohanaeze Ndigbo and Igbo leaders of thought will meet with the president, and this slated for the first quarter of this year over Nnamdi Kanu as well. Well, it was further gathered that the reports of 5 committees set up by the Southeast governors and Ohanaeze Ndigbo after the presidential delegation to the Southeast in June 11, 2021, following agitation for self-determination in the region, would be presented and discussed with the president. And leaders are insisting that, hey, a political solution is the way to go. This is according to the National Publicity Secretary of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, talking about Chief Alex Ogbonaya. He confirmed the development to newsmen on Sunday. What's your take on this? The Southeast leaders apparently are not backing down.
Well, let me thank the governors for trying to listen to some of our advices. I wrote to almost all of them, and I wrote to them 3 or 4 times, telling them the need for them to play their roles as leaders in the region. The need for them to articulate a common front and also ensure that the process has always been that this thing should be resolved politically. That has always been the best model for resolving matters like this. A political solution is the best. And in that circumstance, it is the political leaders that ought to do it. That was why I was a little angry initially when they were all sitting down on their high horses and refused to look at the need to join other leaders. And I was very disturbed. But it was Mbazulika Amechi, a very old man, that had to take that route. When we have very young, able, and fit governors that should take the lead in that area. The solution is political, nothing other than political. We have said it over and over, and I hope this time around the president will listen to the wisdom and the common understanding of everybody that we have to commence a process of healing the nation. The nation ought to be healed. And I can assure you very clearly that you cannot commence that process while Nnamdi Kanu is behind bars. At least not in this area, not in Southeast. The average Southeastern, I will tell you, listen, we are willing to talk. But let us ensure that this young man does not remain behind bars. And to my utter surprise, the judge yesterday was condemning the DSS for not allowing Nnamdi to change his clothes. Change his clothes? Change his clothes? I was very disturbed. I called the people to verify if that was the position. That must he be allowed to be on one cloth? That is not in keeping with the standard of operation, the standard operating procedures of keeping people in detention. For whatever crime they have committed, there are basic standard operating procedures which must be observed. When the Justice Nyako yesterday talked about asking the SSS to ensure that Nnamdi changes his clothes, I was excellently taken aback. I'm going to get some more information on this. I've asked a few of my friends in the DSS to give me information on this. This is a basic thing. It's a basic right for him. He ought not to be denied it. That's my thinking, my brother.
From our studios, is 20 minutes gone past 9. It's Open Parliament, Family Love 99.9 FM. And of course, don't forget you can listen to this on ABN Radio and TV as well as Magic 102.9 FM ABBA. Our guest is Interpol consultant and security expert, Sir Chikwe Udensi. My name is Mr. C. Well, away from the judiciary now, let's go to the legislature, where the president of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, has expressed hope that the National Assembly will pass the Electoral Act Amendment Bill today and not stop there, present it to the president, Muhammadu Buhari, for assent this week. Well, he disclosed this in an interview with newsmen yesterday. Matter of fact, on Monday, this after the meeting with the president at the Asura Villa in Abuja. Well, he ever said that if the cleaning process, this is in quote, took more than a day to complete, then it would be represented to Buhari early next week. Well, earlier, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, specifically said on Tuesday that the electoral bill from which the president withdrew assent would be reworked and passed today and subsequently resent to the president. Good news, you think? How optimistic should Nigerians be? Can they see the light today?
Absolutely optimistic. And let us not lose sight of the fact of the main things in the electoral bill that was supposed to be passed by the president. Look at the major things. The major things are the things that will bring level of credence that is required, some integrity to the electoral process. Let us not rule around the process of primaries. This is the only area that the only area of contention. The National Assembly had recommended that it should be direct primaries. Well, everybody knows the advantage of direct primaries, but the president is saying, yes, it has lots of advantages, But can't we have a choice? You recall that on one of the programs here, I had aligned myself with the National Assembly because of the advantages of direct primaries. But I do not align with them right now. I have changed my opinion because the president's argument is better. The president is saying, yes, direct primaries has numerous advantages. But can we have a choice? Can't we allow the various parties to have a choice? If it's direct primary, it's fine. It has lots of advantages. If it is indirect primary, it's fine. If it's an adoption process, it's fine. So let us leave it to the discretion of the party to decide which process they'll take. If you ask me, there's nothing short of that. I'm told that the two houses have concluded their amendments in line with the president's recommendation, and it will be presented to Mr. President. I hope that Mr. President will not find any other fault because of the various numerous advantages that will make sure that we eliminate the process of allowing political criminals to always hijack collection centers. That's where most of the rigging happens. When you get to collection centers, the figures, which is 20, can change to 300. The figure that is 5 can change to 50. So what the process that we are going to adopt, which is BIVAS, the BIVAS system, which is in the electoral bill, if it is passed and it becomes an electoral act, it becomes a law. So it allows the INEC to institute some technicalities, some technology that will bypass the process of people trying to hijack results in collection centers. It will automatically, real time, send data from the polling unit to the collection to the final collection point. That is what we require today, because whatever you vote is what will count. This is exactly what we require today, and I hope Mr. President will assent to it so that the country can move forward in the area of decent and genuine electoral process.
Well, I'm pretty sure Nigerians would be keeping their fingers crossed and hope the National Assembly get to do their part, and hope too that the president does his part. This for the good of the electoral process as we prepare for the 2023 general elections. Time now is 25 minutes gone past 9. Let's do party now, and your party, talking about the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Yes, that's because there is a new entrant in the person of General Ijoma N. Ijoma, who formally joined your party a couple of days ago. How big is this?
Anybody that joins the party, no matter how big or small he is by way of personality, is always a plus for the party, because you're looking at an extra vote, an extra support. When we heard about the Brigadier General joining ABGA, I was highly elated. I was very happy. The more the merrier. It will bring to bear the necessary instrumentalities that are required for proper electioneering. If you have more people moving with you for electioneering process, it's always better. So I'm happier for it. I'm very happy that he joined, and I'm urging all other Abians to please join. Come to Abia. Come to Abga, I'm sorry, because that is what we require now to move Abia forward. Abga is the vehicle, and that's a very important vehicle for now.
So, now let's move to governance, right, away from party. And quite recently, there's been a little bit of buzz as it got to do with contracts awarded to those who handled the responsibilities of fixing road infrastructure and the rest in Abia State. Well, this came to the fore when, in a recent interview, the executive governor of Abia State, Dr. Victor Kize-Pazu, said something about Fox Road, wherein he said about 2.5 billion naira has been released to contractors to get back to Fox Road and fix that road, and this despite having initially reportedly released the sum of about 6.8 billion, which makes the project go up into about 9 billion plus. This has brought a little bit of debate back and forth, if you like, about is there transparency in the process of awarding contract by the Abia state government? What do you make of this debate? Do you think there's transparency enough? And what do you make of talk about high cost of executing contracts in the state as well? Where do you stand on this?
Thank you very much, Mr. C. When I heard about the initial amount that was used to build or construct Fox Road, I was taken aback. But I wanted to confirm. I tried to reach those in government to confirm if that was actually the amount. The only one that we confirmed was the one that was signed by Mekalo for the flyover at 4.4 billion, according to him. Mr. C, I'm extremely concerned, very concerned about the cost of most of our jobs in Abia State. I do not know the process of due diligence they use. I don't know the process of costing they use. I was able to talk to a director in the state, one of the state ministries, and he told me that they are in works, but they don't know these contracts have been awarded. There is no input from even the ministry itself. That's what he said. And he said he was willing to show me with facts and figures. 6 billion for Fox Road is is completely out of the way. It is totally out of the way. Especially when the benchmark, the recognized benchmark, has always been 218 million or 220 million for a kilometer for the highways. How can we now spend that kind of money for less than 4 kilometers? It's unfortunate. It is frightening. But on a higher understanding of what the problems of Abia is, it is not just the price of the construction. The quality of work done is very substandard.
Okay, so we'll pause your thoughts there, sir. Let's pause your thoughts there because we'll need to go for a short break. When we return, we'll have you talk more of that. Stay with us.
Family Love FM, Umaya. Family Love FM, Umaya.
Wale, what's new?
An internet revolution is going on now.
Internet revolution? What's that?
Wouldn't you like a customer-focused organization that provides unlimited
evidence in Nigeria? Get ready for the most detailed online TV and radio program tagged Operation Show Your Project. Operation Show Your Project. Showing every Thursday 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Operation Show Your Project is the authentic platform for all elected and appointed leaders in politics at all levels to showcase their accomplishments within the period in office. For project documentation and production, contact us today on 0816-634-7017. On 0816-634-7017. Operation Show Your Project comes up every Thursday at 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Be part of the testimony. ABN is at it again. It's time for the Revisible and Political Leadership Project evidence in Nigeria. Get ready for the most detailed online TV and radio program tagged Operation Show Your Project. Operation Show Your Project. Showing every Thursday 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Operation Show Your Project is the authentic platform for all elected and appointed leaders in politics at all levels to showcase their accomplishments within the period in office. For project documentation and production, contact us today on 0816-634-7017. On 0816-634-7017. Operation Show Your Project comes up every Thursday at 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Be part of the testimony. ABN is at it again. It's time for the real visible and political leadership project evidence in Nigeria. Get ready for the most detailed online TV and radio program tagged Operation Show Your Project. Operation Show Your Project. Showing every Thursday 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Operation Show Your Project is the authentic platform for all elected and appointed leaders in politics at all levels to showcase their accomplishments within the period in office. For project documentation and production, contact us today on 0816-634-7017. On 0816-634-7017. Operation Show Your Project comes up every Thursday at 11 a.m. on ABN TV and radio. Be part of the testimony. ABN is at it again. It's time for the real visible and political leadership project evidence. Show Your Project. Operation Project platform for all elected and appointed leaders in politics at all levels to showcase their accomplishments within the period in office. For project documentation and production, contact us today on 0816-634-7017.
Many thanks for keeping it locked. It's still the midweek edition of Open Parliament, Family Love 99.9 FM, streamed live on ABN Radio and TV as well. We'll be
on the grass area for where they took the samples.
Chikwe Udensi, I personally, from when you have not even started featuring, when you are working with Dodgers or Carlo, you are the only person that has done what has happened in Ohanku Road. If you can remember, you brought cement and at least gave some palliative. When that place was a valley of the shadow of the dead, David cannot even walk through it. I saw it, I was there when you were partnering for yourself, and that thing is still there, and that's the only palliative that people are still using on that road. Are you hearing me? Now,
I'm hearing you.
Good. Now, we know your self-respect, we know your pedigree, we know your temerity. That is why we here, I personally, I will make sure that I converse for a change we need in this area. Are you there now? We are tired of all these menace. We are even talking about Fox Road because those are the ones you can see now. I personally, I take time to tour the whole area. I was in Sponsor today. Go and see the type of goat that they are doing in the road they are building. Goat that does not even come out on the road. The goat that is inside the ground. Goat that is inside the ground. At the point I will take the state government court. I will see those contracts because those things are embarrassment to us. You cannot be given goat that cannot handle water.
Thank you.
The goat is very small.
Thank you.
It's even inside the ground. It's inside
1
the
minute.
road. It's the goat that need to come out of the road.
Thank
what
you.
Are we doing this today?
Appreciate for coming through. 1 minute 30 seconds to guide us the time. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, our Interpol consultant, Mr. Chikwe Udensi.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Lawman the Prophet from Umaya.
Okay, Lawman, welcome.
The last time you gave an answer from the question that I've been talking about the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria, I thank you for that thorough explanation because I was thinking, or it was bothering me as if maybe you were on the know and you just do something to help your brother. But you really explain things in detail. Thank you for that. Now, I want to know, as an Interpol consultant, I know you're helping people in security, like Abia State. Why is it that this time around, since 28 December, people have been terrorizing Umuahia? The policemen are here collecting money, standing at the junction there. When you go there, they will collect something from you. Now, people have been terrorizing. Even in Enugu Road, they have robbed there 2 times with gun, and nothing has been done. As an Interpol consultant, what are you doing to tell other security agencies? Now, let us rise up and deal with this issue because this thing is giving this part of the country a bad name.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. He would react to that, but let's do this call still. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Chikwe Udensi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I am Pastor Stanley Kano. I'm calling you from Ibere.
Welcome.
I'm from Isugu, my village.
Welcome.
Yeah, what I want to say, particularly I must commend you first of all for the palliative that you did for the pensioners. And I say, may God continue to bless you and continue to give you more grace to continue to do what you are doing. Mr. Chikwe Udensi, my question to you this morning is, in 2007, you came out as a governorship aspirant, but suddenly you backed out. And you have done this twice. And this time around you are still coming out. Will you not disappoint us again? When we put our trust, maybe our hope in you that you will contest fully, but at the 10 minutes, just a day before the election, you will say that you are backing out. And we have heard as alleged that you are also working for PDP. How true is this? Because we has also alleged that you scuttled the governorship ambition of Dr. Alex Oti in 2016 and also in 2019. How true are all these? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you want to react?
First of all, let me look at the problem of security. He talked about criminals causing problems in Oma here, and also even the security operatives taking part in doing that. We have two major problems, two very major problems. The first problem we have is that there is too much arms in the society, and you can easily access arms like you are buying granite or buying some sweet. This is a problem which we are asking government to address. There is just too much arms, and the accessibility of these arms is very easy. That is a major problem. The second problem is the quality of those in armed forces. Our law enforcement agents, the quality of people there has created a very big problem for the government. In fact, we are told that armed robbery is no more the thing now. The best thing to do is to enter the armed forces and carry arms and then terrorize people. These two things has always been a big problem in the society. As for having come out twice for my governorship elections, I did come out in 2014. I did not get the ticket. I came out again in 2019. I did not get the ticket. Do not also forget that Soludo came out twice too. He came out twice. There was even rejected ticket in PDP before Soludo today is a governor-elect. God knows the best time for everybody. I will present myself and I will leave it to Providence. If I'm given the ticket, I will contest. I did not chicken out. I wanted to contest. But the party, in their wisdom, refused to give me the ticket. It was given to somebody else. As for the issue of my being working for PDP, excuse me, which PDP? This horrible PDP? Can Chikwe Udensi work with this kind of a government? No, I'm not working with them. I can never work with them. Those were the stories of people who wanted to tarnish my image. They were the stories of people who wanted to destroy me. And if you must destroy your brother to succeed, destruction will await you. If you destroy your brother, you'll be destroyed. It is a simple law in the scriptures. So I will make myself available this time around again. If I get the ticket, I will contest. I will not listen to any form of gossip from anybody.
Okay.
As to whether somebody is that is not acceptable to anybody who is reasonable. And those who know me very well, those who know me will tell you that nobody can buy me. I cannot purchase a ball. Nobody can purchase me. I'm going to contest again in 2023, and God willing, I'll take over the mantle of Abia State, and I'll make Abia State better for everybody.
Oh well, back to the phone lines this morning. Open Parliament still. Don't forget www.facebook.com/familylove99.9 FM. We have another caller here. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chief.
Good morning, please.
My name is Chief Chikwe Udensi. They call me here about 5 years from Holland. Good morning, Happy New Year, sir.
Good morning, sir. Happy New Year.
In fact, I just want to congratulate you for your new appointment, Anambra. That shows that people know who you are and what you are doing. When you go for your state, sometimes your state, they see they know they value you. But now one other people, they value somebody. For Anambra to recognize, that means you get something when you get what they need. And that's the way you get. God will help. And they are going to need them very soon. But I tell you, Ogabeg, now me beg you last time about pensioners. And you don't do them. They try, they pay. And most of them are calling me again. I want me to just tell them I beg. Whether other local government now where they go pay, make them know. Because that's the kind of want to your father. No be whether you go contest or you don't go contest. What you don't do for your people, now you go show us whether you go. Not be to bring that country. This kind of way they do for pensioners, what try reach? Now they go beg you come be their governor. And when you come out for that ticket, now be as pensioners at teacher, now they go vote you. So make the new people, those they do the right thing. Tell us, no local government, you don't pay more. The ones where you need to pay more, but thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You want to
respond to that? Yeah, let me react to that. Thank you very much, Mr. Yoruba. We have done, after the launch on the 9th, we have done Mahatia, we have done Abetuku, we have done Bende. On the 28th of this month, we are proceeding to Umunochi. After that, we are going to Isukwato, we are going to Umahianota South, we are also going to Isialangwa North and South. We hope that at the end of that week, we shall be doing another set of palliatives in Aba. Like I told you the last time, the number of people who need help are too many. So what I did here is to say I'm going to redo Aba again by the end of next week. I redo Aba again and then commence again from the local government. It is not a one-off thing I want to do. I'm not a politician. I'm a leader. You can call me a political leader. Politicians make promises. Leaders create projects for the masses, and they identify problems and find ways of solving these problems. Mr. C, it is very important to know that I am not just going to do this forever. The best thing for us to do is to identify lasting solutions. What are the lasting solutions we can identify? I looked around. I said, why how is every other person around the world, how are they doing it? That was why I came up with the Charity Commission. The Charity Commission will soon be inaugurated. For the past 2 weeks, Mr. C, I've spent time with the CAN, the Christian Association of Nigeria. Their chairperson, Reverend Moore, was so helpful. He was so helpful. He worked closely with me to fine-tune how best we can set up the Charity Commission. Also, the Most Reverend Isaac Wabia, the Archbishop of Aba, the Anglican Archbishop, he quickly identified what we're doing and said, listen, I'm going to have a desk officer. Reverend NDBC was given to us to work with us. The service of God. I spoke personally to Pastor Okorafo, though he referred me to Dr. Ejikeme Jim, so that he has left. He's no more the head. Ejikeme Jim is now the head. The Methodist bishop. I spoke to them. I spoke to Bishop Obuko. He was very, very interested in what we are doing, and also the Presbyterian bishop.
So, how soon are we having this? How soon are we having this come to play?
Yeah, we realized, Mr. C, that we have 5 blocks of Christians and churches in Abia State. The 5 blocks are the CSN, which is the Catholic Secretariat. They have a very beautiful vehicle called the Caritas. The Caritas are going to work with us. In fact, the bishop has indicated, listen, Udensi, once you want this Caritas, they'll work with you. I'm going to provide the funding, all the funds required for it, for initial takeoff of the project. There's also the Episcopal group, which is called the CNN. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria is also there. There's an organization too, they call the Organization of African Instituted Churches. That's where the Cherubim and Seraphim are, and other of the Dozi Obodo. And also the last one is the ECWA, ECWA churches. So reaching all these churches has not been easy. Well, what I did was I had to, even from my office, I got out some desk officers to help, and I've also employed 14 more people. I just employed 14 more people last week to help us in reaching out to these churches and bring them into the Charity Commission. So that the problem associated with elderly care will be handled permanently. We're also doing the law, the legislation. It has to be a law. It has to have teeth. And there's some penalties for defaulters, because you know our people will certainly default. If you are going to put any project
and you don't put stick, you don't put some penalties and enforceable penalties, our people will certainly will make sure you don't go to the more you bring solutions, the more they create problems. So this is what we have done so far. It's not just helping for the palliatives. We must have to have center for elderly persons.
Well, talking about the palliatives, I mean, for emphasis, you are intent on going round 17 local government areas of the state.
Yes, we have just done 3, and on the 28th of this month, we are continuing. We hope that by next week, that's a week after the 28th, we must have finished. And when we finish, we are going to do the last one again in Aba, because the problem we couldn't even take care of up to 40% of the people.
Okay.
So we want to go back to Aba and see how we can take part and making sure that those we missed the last time we came, we can also help them too.
All right.
And we have enormous resources to do this now.
Okay. So let's do just one call before we call it a wrap this morning. We got a caller here. You got 30 seconds, if you will. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. C. Good morning, Sir Chikwe.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Jerry. I'm calling from Oma here. I want to make a quick one. Sir Chikwe, you've actually told us that you are not on ground in Abia State. If you are faulting the cost of constructing Fox Road, you are comparing Fox Road with other roads, maybe federal roads. Maybe you don't know the peculiar problems of that road that would demand the so I think if you need to become governor of Abia State, you need to come back to and be resident here, try to find out what is happening. We appreciate what you're doing for the pensioners, but we also know because you want to become a governor, that's why you're doing it. It's not as easy as you think it is. By the time you get to that position, if you will come in like 2030, that's when we expect people like you to become governor, not now. If you come in, you begin to appreciate what governorship is like. It's not as easy talk as you do it on radio. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Let me thank him for his opinion, which he's entitled to. So do not forget that what I did is not to do assessment myself. No, I had to get those who are in construction. I don't know if you know Trevi construction. I don't know if you know Carlos Dabato. These are professionals who are constructing highways. I didn't just make my personal estimation, because I will always put in the services of professionals in everything I do. If you are going to allow some mechanics and fitters to double as engineers, you create problems for yourself. So what I did here is to involve the what is the position? So what I'm saying is not my personal opinion, it is the opinion of the professionals. That's what I'm doing. So I'm very sorry I must have angered him. I don't intend to anger him, but this is what information I got from technical people who are on ground, and I'm comfortable with that information.
Okay, we're going to be calling this a wrap right here. Comment on Facebook by Mecca Timothy says, "Good day, Mr. C. Please, Sir Chikwe, I am personally happy that we have people like you in Abia, and I wish you well in everything you do. In case your party denies you the ticket to run, are there other good candidates you can suggest to us to vote for?" I think you're going to wrap up with that.
Well, I'm going to contest. There are so many good candidates out there that, in fact, if you ask me, what we ought to do is sit down and then amongst ourselves, in our collective wisdom, we say, who do we set to go and do this job for us? I'm going to be presenting myself for this job, and I know I have the competence and I have the drive. Okay. I have the preparedness for it.
All right.
But if the people say it's not me, I'll leave it to Providence. But I'm going to present myself. As to other people who are interested, there are so many people who are interested and who are also capable. I've spoken to you on this issue before, Mr. C. There are so many competent hands out there. All we want to do is to make sure that this charade, this wickedness by some persons, let me not call them, this wickedness does not continue in Abia State. That's what I'm saying.
Let's leave it here for today. Thanks for stopping by, Chikwe Udensi.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Mr. C.
Well, thanks, listeners. We'll do this again, same time, same station next week. Don't forget to came through via the frequency of Family Love 99.9 FM. talking about Open Parliament, streamed live ABN TV and radio, as well as Magic 102.9 ABBA. My name is Mr. C. The newsroom is next. The news at 10.
When I get old.